Good afternoon, everybody. I'm back. Yeah, well, I had my doctor's appointment, and I wanted to come back on here to update you on what the Lord is doing with me personally in my life, and a lot of it has to do with medical, you know. I just came out of the doctor's office, and he gave me a copy of my blood work, and he says it's flawless. So here you go, another pristine blood work where there's absolutely not one red flag. And also, I lost almost a little bit more than another 8 pounds. So, from my highest point to now, the Lord has taken I'm nearing 80 pounds off my body. Now, I could take absolutely no credit for any of this. All glory goes to God for what he's doing with me and has allowed me to give a testimony, because, well, I've lived most of my life with no control over regulating my weight. No matter what I did, was just, the results maybe were minimal, and then all of a sudden I went right back into the groove and probably accelerated and got worse. So this is all God's doing, because, all the doctors that I've ever gone to, none of them have ever told me to stop eating this or not to eat that. It's really only God that commanded me to make these changes in my diet, which resulted in a beneficial health. Okay, so when I was talking to the doctor, and because he asked me, he said, "What are you doing to your diet that you're losing the weight?" Because I guess he wants to make sure I'm not ill. I'm not losing it because I'm sick. And I said to him, well, I said, I haven't had any meat or flesh, any type of flesh, for 8 years. And I says, and I have no coffee, no artificial sweeteners, no artificial flavorings, no artificial colorings. And I says, and as of this June of 23 that just passed, June the 7th, I said, I removed all bread from my diet. So that means no bread, no pizza, no pasta, no cake, no cookies, no candy, no potato. Well, I could have potato chips, but I don't anymore. No processed foods like, I used to love to eat cheese nips. No more. None of those things. Crackers, nothing. Out. Gone since June the 7th. And so he was very, very proud of what I've accomplished since he's seeing me. And it's only been seeing me, like, I think maybe 2 years, or maybe a little less than 2 years. And I've just with him, I've lost 20 pounds just with him since I'm seeing him. So let's see. This is all God's doing, people. I could never do any of this on my own. And I'm sure the doctors, all the patients, are going the opposite way. I'm going a different way, and all the rest of the patients are progressing towards their death. And I seem to be going in a different direction. And let's see. What has happened? What has God done to me? All right, no flesh for 8 years, no coffee, no artificial sweeteners, colors, or flavorings, no bread, pasta, cake, cookies, candy, very low carbohydrates. And what has God done? Okay, he's corrected my auto reflux. I have no more auto reflux. Doctors had me on what do you call them? Anti-reflux. No, antacids. I'm sorry. I have been taking antacids for 25 years, and you're only supposed to be on them for 3 weeks tops, and then you're supposed to be off. So God took me off of those, and I never returned to those pills. And he had me do a couple of things. He included a couple of things in my diet so that I could easily come off of them. Because if I had just stopped them abruptly, I would have gone back, because my body needed what they were giving me. So what he told me to take thwarted that, and I was able to exit very easily, and I never went back, and I never had a problem after that. Okay, he took away my panic attacks and anxiety and depression, and so he removed those antidepressants and anti-anxiety drugs. Now I'm off of them for a little over 2 years without any reoccurrences. So what's next? What has God still has to do? Well, I have high blood pressure. It's under control. It's a low dose high blood pressure pill. It's not very powerful, but my family, I have it in the family. My mother had it her whole life, and my brother had it really bad. And plus cholesterol runs in the family, clogged arteries, atherosclerosis, atherosclerotic cardiac disease. My mother had it really bad. My brother died at 48 from it. His artery actually, his valve actually blew off the heart from a combination of clogged arteries and high blood pressure. And he died very young from that. So I believe that there is kind of a preventive thing for me. I'm on like a very low dose. So I think the goal here for God is to probably get me off of all of these. And he's doing it through taking my diet down a little at a time. And I believe, I'm also on an injection once every 8 weeks for my autoimmune ulcerative colitis. And I believe that through this correction of the diet, I think I'm probably going to be cured of autoimmune disease. And that would be phenomenal, people. Not only for me, but if God has given me the formula to reverse all this stuff. And once I reach the goal, when God gets me to his goal, I'll be able to give it to you. And I think this is all just amazing information. I'm astounded myself when I go to the doctor, and I get these reports, especially as I'm climbing in age. And I say to myself, well, I say, Lord, look at the direction that the world is going. I'm getting up in age. How much longer can I actually live? And yet everything that he's doing to me are things that will either extend my life in this body, or get me, or empty me, or he's emptying me so that he could give me a new body. See, because God can't really get inside of you. You can't really manifest a full glory of God. You have to be empty. And emptying is a very, very large definition, to be emptied spiritually. So it's not only denial of foods and getting all that excess weight that you gained on your body that shouldn't have been there in the first place. It was on from greed and gluttony and I always said this, microorganisms. Bad gut bacteria, the bad guys overpopulate the good guys, take over, and now they're demanding you feed them perpetually, and they feed on sugar. And anybody who's done any kind of research knows that sugar causes a lot of diseases, including cancer, feeds off of it. So yeah, I mean, I can only speculate because I don't know what the Lord is really going to do. I mean, he's told me things about myself, and there were things that he told me that I can't share. A lot of it I have shared, but there are some things that I can't share. I'm not able to share right now. So, but I can tell you that he's moving me in this direction, emptying me. And a lot of the emptying, like I said, is more than just fasting and denying yourself food. It's not looking to the world anymore for attention or affection from people or validation, all of that, and just completely relying on him. He has removed people from my life. It's down to me and my husband and my cat now. Basically, there isn't anything else out there that I am leaning on or depending on. So yeah, and going forward, listen, it's tough. It's a tough ride to be stripped of everything here. But, if the end result is that transformation of the body like Jesus had on the mountain of transfiguration, because that is where he and God, the Holy Spirit, met, and he was in a state of ecstasy, and he lit up, and he received his new body on that mountain of transfiguration. So the body, if you're going to go forward, if God plans to use you in these end days, and they issue the mark of the beast, and you're not able to get food or currency, your body is going to have to be able to do without these things in order to resist taking the mark of the beast. So you have to have that. You need a transformed body to go forward without having to rely on anything that the world is going to give you for your survival. See, people will go that way because they're dependent on everything here, all those foods that they're eating, and the currency and all of that. But if God gets you to the place beforehand where he drains you away from everything that you're depending upon in the world, even food and money and all of that, and God, then you have this incorruptible body. They can't touch you. They can't force you to take a shot, or they can't force you because you're worried about eating. Listen, God fed everybody in the desert, right? He fed his people in the desert. He gave them food and water when they needed it, and he will send somebody. Somebody will show up. I've had that happen to me. It happened. Plus being in danger and God putting a shield of protection around me, just like he did with the deer in the backyard. And, he said, these enemies will fall all around you, but none will touch you. Won't touch you. The corruption of the world or the enemy, which is trying to go after you to wipe you out, is not going to touch you. I have testimony with this. So I've lived it. I've experienced it. So then I can share it with you. And so this is where I'm at right now. And interestingly, when years ago, all the doctors that I have gone to, they always gave me an appointment 2 months. Every 2 months they wanted to see me, but now they're giving me 6 months. You don't have to come back for 6 months. That's a half a year. They must be pretty confident that my health is in good shape, that they don't need to check me for 6 months. This is all positive. And all the glory goes to our Lord, because I have lived decades without having any power whatsoever in my own being to make any of these corrections. And it's all due to God. God tells you to do something, He gives you the power to do it. I'm living proof, people. Don't give up. Don't give up, okay? I look forward to seeing what's next. So, on that note, I'll say have a great day in the Lord. I'll be back with some more. But for now, shalom.